Welcome, welcome, welcome. I couldn't think of anyone better to celebrate my third year doing this with Nancy Aronson. I think we first met many years ago. We met more than 3 years ago at all different things. And I remember back then it was a meetup group that we had put together. And we figured let's have 5 or 6 of us just get together and chat. And you were kind of my first unofficial guest.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even remember exactly what we talked about, but being an introvert, like I know you are, I was figuring great small audience, we'll have a few people there. And I've been told by too many people now that I'm not an introvert anymore. And that's so untrue.
Especially so introvert to me, I went to those communication classes at my old job. And one of the things I learned in the last class I took of it was that introverts get their energy from being alone. Extroverts get it from being around other people. So you could be an extrovert but be shy, and you can be an introvert and not be shy. So it's really about the energy.
And I remember one of the things we chatted about was getting on LinkedIn to try to get out of that shell. And your background is so emblematic of that because you had Zoom backgrounds. And used to post about the Zoom backgrounds all the time. And that was kind of your thing. And on top of that, you have a whole side business between the backgrounds and the store. So you've kind of put out a whole niche for yourself. So how's the store going actually?
So it's going pretty well. We were on in January, as you know, we were on Pix 11 Morning News with Ben Aaron. He came to the shop. Yeah, our partner Lois and I were both in the segment. We have the videos on YouTube. It was so much fun, and we got people coming in from that. People find us on Google. They're looking for, oddities or whatever. We've had people come from Connecticut to New Jersey, all different places. And then in April, I was in 201 Magazine, where I talked about the places I like to go. And people have been coming into the shop from seeing about the shop there. So it's been helping.
And Sue Griffey came and visited us all the way up down from Maryland. So maybe we have to make that a destination place for all of us to get together and do some shots and forget it. So what does your background look like today? I mean, how did you come up with that?
I have a blanket behind me. So this started out as, I don't even remember. I really have to make a note of what it was and then what it became. This one might have been just completely abstract. Okay. So, and I just liked all the different colors, and I figured it's Pride Month, so this kind of sort of goes with the Pride colors. And
I want to do some chat. So Linda Brubaker's on the call. Linda's one of the people. She's on. We're on Fridays with Brenda Miller. And yes, it's been 3 years, and we have to share some of our stories along those lines. Oops. And then I also want to reach out. Terry Seaman is here. I think for me, one of the most important things of all was this started during the pandemic, and I was out of work at the time, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. I wasn't sure how it was going to evolve, and I'd actually just had a consulting assignment end on me 4 weeks after it started due to the pandemic. And we can share that. So I thought, let's just have a chat with some people who are in a similar situation, and let's just brainstorm. And we talked about anything and everything that back then. And I think that for me, one of the biggest challenges was actually speaking.
Yeah, I agree. Well, sometimes it's tough because there are some people who feel very comfortable speaking and don't like to give up. So you feel funny trying to break into that if you're not used to jumping in, and interrupting people. As a lot of us introverts, a lot of us feel that way.
Well, I remember the first conversation I had with an extrovert during the pandemic. I could not keep up, which was a good thing in a way because it taught me about myself. And I just want to definitely, you got all the fun Zoom backgrounds. I remember I asked you at the time, any chance of you doing a book, like a book on the table, one of those coffee table books?
I should. So you know what? I'll have to pick a whole bunch. And then I'm going to have to get people to help me name them because I never name my paintings or designs. and I will need help with that because I think they all need names. You know, maybe get people to tell me what they see in them, and I can include them in the book. I like that.
Lori Walker is also one of my first guests from California, and I think that was back then. I was really, and that's one of the things, you know, trying to figure out how you're going to get people to speak. Because back then I figured, okay, here we're going to have a networking session. We're going to talk about job search. We're going to talk about whatever. But I'm like, I can't do this alone. I can't. I just can't do it. Marty Latman, can you help me? Abby Kohut, can you help me? Kind of like, and that helped a lot. And then it was like, well, who are you going to have on next? And I'm like, I don't know who I'm going to have on next. I didn't
but
really.
You have no shortage now, which is great. And I think you're a really good moderator also, you know, when, go ahead.
No, I go back to Inside the Actor Studio. I don't know if you remember that show where that guy would ask all these questions. And I thought about myself as that way because I was a newspaper reporter back a long time ago. So I was used to that, but it's like putting that together with talking to someone and looking at a chat and doing all this multitasking, and it's not easy. But Lori is, I guess, going to help you out with naming. I think.
Thank you, Lori. I will definitely reach out to you. I appreciate that.
Meryl, love the energy. Great to meet you. And I actually met Meryl. I think meeting in person and the first time we met was such an eye opener. You know, to actually see people. And I joke about it now from the waist on down, because people don't realize that. It's like we would do these sessions, we'd be in our sweats, we'd be in whatever.
Well, like Mark, I didn't realize, you know, like, well, you're really tall. Mark is tall, and Marty's pretty tall too. Like, you guys are all really tall, and I'm like, you know, I'm a shorty.
Yeah, but then again, I don't think people. The hardest thing of all was actually when I actually went up to people. It took me a second for me to recognize people.
Yes.
When we first got together. You know, I think when you did that show in Glen Rock a while ago.
Yes. I love that picture of us from that. It was nice that you guys came. Yes.
And Rachel was there that day, and that was just a cool thing. I mean, are you have any plans to do any of those other events in the future?
I'm going to do something. I looked Wayne Powell. They're having some artisan fair later in the year.
PAL?
The PAL.
Okay.
So I'm going to look into that. And I missed it this year, but Maywood had something that was great. It was actually free. Like, they didn't charge you for a table at all. So,
well,
if you need
a contact at the PAL, I know the guy in charge, and that's true.
Excellent. Good. Because, I wasn't quite sure the best way. And they have categories. And, you know, my art doesn't fit into one category because I have wall art, and then I have clay jewelry, but then I have the tote bags and other things that I put my designs on. So it's really hard to, you know, not one category.
So unfortunately, you were in job search for a little while again.
Yes.
And so you've seen the ups and downs of it. Are you still looking in general? Have you decided to kind of take a break, or has anything changed that way?
No, I'm still looking. I'm still looking for a software, you know, developer, engineer. Right. I did talk to the people at unemployment about getting a training grant and possibly going for training. And then it's just a matter of, what do I pick? You know, do I do cybersecurity? Do I do something cloud related? You know, because I have full project life cycle. You know, I love to test. I'm really good at finding bugs. And, you know, there's so many places I'd love to work. But I don't fit nicely into the box.
Is it as bad out there as I hear from some people still about the ghosting and the not getting back, or is it just changed at all?
It's, you know, it hasn't been that bad. Usually for me, I will say, through LinkedIn and through being on Indeed and the other sites, that people do contact me. So it's usually pretty good. And the last time that I got close to getting an offer, I got a personal email from them when I didn't get it, which was really nice. And then, of course, I responded with my, you know, thank you for not giving me the job, but I'm interested in, because they said, of course, and keep an eye out because, we have other jobs and blah, blah, blah. So you never know, we'll see.
But I know it's also great that you have other things you're doing on the side, because
Right.
it's also about personally taking care of yourself and well-being and not stressing about stuff. Because while I'm not looking anymore, when I work with Lee Hecht Harrison, and I know Jenna, who's here probably, who's one of my fellow trainers, can relate to that. When we have our branding sessions or the opportunities for people to speak with us, there's so many good, talented people out there that just need a little bit of a tweak here and there, and especially if they've been out for a while. And sometimes it's just having the conversations that make such a big difference, because they get the technical but not the other.
Well, and I do have a question, not funny thing, but I did, so I had my resume,
right?
The format was okay. And I get tons of people reaching out to me. So I don't think it's an issue with my resume, but somebody I know, their daughter works in HR, and they said to me that the daughter said that I need to have it professionally done. And I don't agree with that, but I know everybody has a different opinion. A friend of mine, actually, he redid it into a nicer format, and I'm good with that. I don't think I need to spend, hundreds of dollars having somebody, work on my resume when I am getting people to contact me from my resume.
I think the answer is that most of us probably know enough to get going with the resume. There are some best practices that we all go by. I think a lot of times it's not just the resume. One thing that we talk a lot about is having a resume when you apply online, which may be different than the resume when you send it out to someone, because it's not the same thing.
Right. There are things that you wouldn't do in the resume that's going to the ATS, because it might, the ATS doesn't like tables formats and certain special characters. So yeah. And, but physically you can send something that looks really pretty.
So Carrie, Carrie sent you through LinkedIn Live. Wasn't she able to send a personalized message? There are so many people that I speak to and that you speak to, that we all speak to, that probably don't. They have the skills. That's not the issue. But there's something that's actually missing. I had a conversation today with someone who was on Brenda's calls, and we were just chatting about things. And I said to her, and I'm kind of going to repeat this because there's nothing proprietary. I said, do you have your 10 companies, your 9 companies that you want to focus on? Okay. Let's sit down and craft some messages for how you reach out to them. And this person had said to me, well, I want to reach out to the CEO. And I said, why not? And she said, really? I said, what have you got to lose? I said, but it's a different type of message than if you're sending it to a recruiter. Maybe you want to point out something about the company in the news. Maybe you want to point out something about their profile, but they're just people.
Yeah. No, I've have friends that they reached out to CEOs because, like you said, they are just people. And if you can find some way of connecting with them, like you said, look at their profile, maybe you have an interest in common, and, most people will respond.
Well, we use, I keep saying LinkedIn's a search engine. So we searched for a company, found the company. We went to the company, we found people with the current job there. And then I said, let's talk about industry. What industries do you? And so we made it down to 10 people within the company. So I said, there you go. What do I say? So I think a lot of it's people are their own worst enemies about things. Oh, what happens if I don't get response? Nothing, because you didn't. Exactly.
Yeah. And sometimes if you're sending it to them on LinkedIn, they may not read LinkedIn that often. They may not realize you even sent a message. So sometimes it's not that they're ignoring you. It's just they don't go in LinkedIn that often.
Well, what I said to her today, I said, first of all, send a request on the weekend. And I said, don't be as inclined to put a hello or something, because they don't know you from a hole in the wall. So I said, just focus on the message.
Right.
So I have to definitely let Alex It's not the background, but the fact she's communicating with the audience with her smile. And that is such a big thing.
Thank you, Alex.
I mean, I think however I may feel about something, a smile is so important. It's so important because it's how you come across. One of my family members' sons asked me to look at his LinkedIn profile. True story. He's up in Vermont. He wants to do something in the Boston area. And I said to him, Jeff, why would anyone want to hire you? You're grumpy. You got all these faces. And I said, seriously, I said, what is that showing? I mean, you have to be approachable. And he's the nicest guy in the world. My goodness.
He needs a new picture for sure.
He needs a new picture because this is your first impression. Now, they just took videos off today or yesterday.
Oh, right. I saw that was happening.
And I did the post today with that group, the Buggles, because it reminded me of MTV, when they first kicked off.
I watched that. I commented we had cable because my dad watched the Islander games.
Okay.
And that's why he got cable. We didn't have a lot, but we had cable. And I watched when MTV first came on, when video killed the radio star. It was great.
It was great for me because I was in my 20s then. I kind of sort of got it, but I was like, this is great. I could watch this all day. And, seeing him on Sirius XM, seeing all those DJs now on Sirius XM is really, really cool. But I guess the thing was, I did that as a post today because paying homage, if you will, to whatever, people are so afraid to put something on LinkedIn. They are so afraid of posting content.
Like you said, just, I don't know, find something that you're interested in and reshare it and add some comments. You don't have to write your entire, you don't have to figure out from scratch, and then you'll just get more comfortable in time.
So I have to find out, what are some of the latest things that you got? Because when I visited the shop, I was like, this is great. And part of me is like, I have stuff I could actually give you, but I don't know if that's really appropriate or not. But
oh no, sure, anything goes. So we have everything. Like, we have the stuff you never knew you had to have, or the stuff, I won't say the word that we would use, that you never knew you needed. So, you never know what you're going to find. And because we share the shop with another couple, my husband and I, and we both get our stuff mostly from estate sales. So you never know what we're going to have and what new things we're going to have. And some stuff is, old vintage, but some stuff is new. And then we have all this handcrafted stuff, that I make and that my partner makes.
If you take a wrap board games, we have those in the house.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. And we did sell. So we actually had a bunch of sheep's brains.
Okay.
That we had gotten from a college that was closing. It was from their science department. And we sold them all. I think we had 8 and they're all gone. People bought them. So we have some spiders still, weird things. So, you just never know. We still have our skinless rats.
Oh, really? Do you have the tall toothbrush there still?
We still have the toothbrush. It's right by the tooth. We have that gigantic tooth that you can sit on. It's like the perfect size for the tooth. So we have that.
Sounds like we have to have a networking event there.
Yeah. We don't have room really to sit. We'd have to walk around, but we could definitely do that. I had my National Association of Women Business Owners meeting there I think in December.
What is it? Is a sheep brain? Is a sheep brain what I think it is, or is it?
It was like half a brain from a sheep in a jar.
Oh, in a jar. Okay.
Yep, in a jar. Yes. But we also have some skeletons, and then some stuff that was for teaching in school, but we have tons of just also remember when everything was metal, like in your medicine cabinet?
Yes.
There's a whole selection of that stuff and old kitchen stuff, again, back when things were made out of metal and not plastic. So we have tons of stuff. The best way to get an overview of the shop for anyone who hasn't been there or can't physically get to New Jersey on our at our website, the first link, we have a list of links, and the first link is to the YouTube videos of when Ben Aaron was at the shop. And he walks around, he picks things up, and you can see some of the stuff that we have. A lot of it's fun getting the stuff for the shop. Yeah. It's fun when people come in and they buy something and you see how happy they are, with their purchase.
I know when I went there, I was like, oh my God. I mean, because then I started thinking back to things I hadn't seen in a long time. Do you remember those mini cash registers that you'd have and you'd put the change in?
Yes. I don't. Did we had one of those? But I think we have. Oh my God! Remember carpet sweepers?
Yeah.
Right. We have a mini kids one. It's adorable. It's kid size. I mean, it's just so cute.
And then I started thinking about the Easy Bake Ovens and all the other stuff.
Yep. Just picked up the Girl Scout version of the Easy Bake Oven.
Really?
It didn't come with any mix though, so I have to find. You could actually make like the Thin Mints and the trefoils and all that, but I need to find the mix.
But how did you get started doing that? I mean,
well, my husband and we one day happened to be near where I used to work, and we walked into an antique store in Rutherford, and they had a barber chair, and my husband it was like a 1930s barber chair. So we ended up paying for it, but we didn't have a way to get it home. They were going to ship it. They were going to have someone deliver it.
Right.
And turns out the family wanted it back. They had gotten it from an estate sale they did. So she gave us store credit. Went back in the store. We went a few times, and she was doing an estate sale, and we went to her estate sale, the store owner, and oh my God, it was just so much fun. Because estate sales, like before I knew what they were, I thought they were only in like these big stately manors, and it could be anybody's house, and someone could be moving, someone could have passed away, it could be anything. And it was just so much fun. We actually went crazy, and we started going. We'd go to like 5 estate sales on Saturday and like 5 on Sunday. I mean, we were crazy. And then after a while, we just kept going to those, and my parents both passed away, and we inherited a little bit. And my husband talked about getting having a shop, mostly for, let's say, records. And we ended up we went to visit one of the Lois, who's now our partner, had a shop at the Brownstone Mill, and we went to visit her, and she's like, well, there's space here. So the next thing you know, we were renting a space there, and the rest is history. So
you don't seem so introverted when you're talking about that. How do you, as an introvert, when people come into the shop or people call up how do you set yourself out to do that? Because that's got to be challenging.
It's tough. I've gotten a lot better. Like when someone would call and I had to call back, I didn't want to call back. Like my mother didn't make me make appointments for like my hair or the doctor when I was younger. And I think that hurt me. I really should have had to do that. But now I can do it. I just mentally, or sometimes I even write it down, what I want to talk about, what I want to say, so that when I call, I'm prepared.
So what's the actual name of the shop? Because I think, maybe when you do the follow-up, you can actually put that link in. Is it still Iggy's Curiosity?
So we were Iggy's Curiosity Shop, and we merged with a store called Stuff. So now it's Stuff with Iggy, a curiosity shop. And we moved a block away from where we were. Mm-hmm. We are at 21 Van Blarcom Avenue, which is a block from Godwin Avenue and right by Goffel Road in Midland Park, right behind Starbucks.
Yep. It's a great location because, and I don't know if there's a King's still there or not, but there used to be a King's there.
The King's is still over there. There's a whole shopping center there. There's pizza place, and there's Japanese, Chinese, there's all sorts of stuff there. So
and I know my sister used to work in Midland Park. I think there was a doctor's office, some complex there. So it's a neat name.
Thank you.
And if you ever get a chance, watch the video, because I remember that day when we saw you on, again, I posted it on LinkedIn, but it had to be such a cool thing. Like, he's all over the place, that guy from Channel 11. He's like,
yes, Ben Aaron and he's such a nice guy. The funny thing was, So we had, I don't know if people have ever heard of that. It's called The Final Word. It's about this big, and you press it and it says things that are, a little off color.
Right.
And he saw it and he's like, oh my God, I have to get this for my mother. And he bought it for his mother and she loved it. So he's such a fun guy. He's married to Ginger Z, meteorologist on ABC.
I didn't know that.
Yes. Yeah. He's a really nice guy and a lot of fun. We had a great time.
So it has a lot of great collectibles, definitely.
Thank you, Jeannie. Yes, Jeannie's been there.
Yeah, I think, for me, it was going back to childhood a little bit.
Yes.
I mean, back to a different time. And I think what it helps me in terms of, it got me in a great mood when I went there, I have to be honest. Because I think seeing you, that smile, seeing that shop, seeing the backgrounds, you're so inviting in that whole thing.
You.
Well, you are. I mean, it's.
Yeah. Well, and Lois, our partner, she does beautiful window displays. It's like we all have our fortes, like I do the social media, not that, I've never been trained in it and it's not amazing, but I do okay with it. And, Peter does and if we need anything electrical or anything built, Bill is just a natural salesman. So it's, we all complement each other. So, yeah.
I mean, I'm thinking now with Bed Bath shutting down. I remember when Toys R Us closed. Oh. Toys R Us closed. I worked at Toys R Us. I went to the sale that they had when they were getting rid of stuff. And I picked up some stuff I couldn't get the large Jeffrey the Draft, but I picked up some good tchotchkes and stuff. And there's going to be some great. And when Bed Bath shuts down in corporate, there are things I have my eye on.
Ooh.
I totally have my eye on. I mean, there was a sign up there because everyone knows about the 20% off coupons that they have.
Yeah.
So there's a sign up there that said, "Don't ever give just 20% of your expertise or something like that in the shape of a coupon." And
that's cool. I see. I love things like that.
Yeah.
We actually have. There was the movie about Yogi Berra just recently,
right?
And they had a big cardboard cutout thing of him at the AMC theaters, and we were able to actually get 2 of them. So we're keeping one, and we have one in the shop. That has Yogi with all his World Series rings on, and it's a great movie. I recommend it to anyone who likes the Yankees. Yogi Berra. He was very underappreciated.
I mean, I have stuff that my kids don't realize what it is.
Yeah.
I have Subway tokens, and it's like, what's a Subway token?
Now, do you have old ones, or do you I have the last ones that
I have the ones which have like the Y or that thing in them.
Oh, those are great. That was before I started taking it.
Yeah, I have those. I think they're really cool. I have downstairs. I have yearbooks and things from old baseball teams. I have LPs downstairs, which
we have a ton of vinyl.
Yeah, I have my Meatloaf Bat Out of Hell one that Meatloaf actually gave me. So
no.
Well, in 1977, I was at Montclair State College.
Okay.
And back then we had, of course, college concerts, and I was on the radio station. So back then, no one had heard of Meatloaf then. So Meatloaf came up to the station to promote this album, Bat Out of Hell, which none of us had heard of yet.
Right.
And stupid us did not think about asking to get an autograph.
Because who would have thought?
But it's still, yeah. But we had concerts back then, and it was cool because we were talking to different people. So that's how I got that. It's kind of like a story I don't. And the year before, I think was Billy Joel was there. I think the year before, again, back then. But it was just like it's another side of me.
And there were no cell phone cameras, so you couldn't take a picture, to have him giving it to you as your provenance.
You had to have a big camera. Yeah, that's the other thing. Like even cell phones have changed so much. And
yeah. We got Felix Silla, who had he was Tweaky in Buck Rogers, and he was cousin It.
Cousin It, yes.
Right. And he played a bunch. He played an Ewok. He played something in Planet of the Apes. And my husband found a whole bunch of cups. They were Buck Rogers cups.
Right.
And we gave him a sleeve of cups, and then he signed like 4 or 5 of them for us. And he's passed away, so, you know, sad to say. But so we have some of those, and my husband's putting some of those in the shop because, you know, where are you going to get that? You know, that was when we had met him at the Star Trek conventions in Vegas, and he was so much fun. One day we had dinner. It was Felix's friend, and Bill and I, and the 3 of them had me cracking up the whole time. Just fun. Yeah, everyone has to laugh. That's another thing. We love going to see live comedy. We know a lot of local comedians. In fact, everybody should look out for Maureen Langan. She was on America's Got Talent, and she's going to be on tonight. She was on last week. She made it to the next round, so she'll be on tonight, and she's very funny. So.
But comedy see, my thing, and I use TV as an escape for me. It was a definite escape for me during job search. I know people kind of talk about this, but my guilty pleasure during job search was watching Judge Judy.
She's funny. She's no nonsense.
No, just to get it. I mean, and there's nothing wrong with having that. And it's a balancing act. I would do that. Back in the day, I would actually exercise a lot more than I do now.
Well, I have to say that's why I've been missing Brenda's calls. Have been going. I'm in the Women's Club of Paramus, and they have a walking group, and they can. There's usually at least 3 people. Today there were probably like 10, and I've started walking 2-3 times a week whenever I can, and it's great. I've lost some weight, you know, and I know I've gained muscle, and you know I have the Fitbit, so I'm always now looking. Ooh, how many did I do today? You know. So it's exercising. I mean, it raises your endorphins and it makes you feel better.
And even from a job search standpoint, it's something to kind of disengage from the process. I think there's so much information out there. I think it's almost like too much information that is out there. Sometimes you just need to kind of simplify.
Yes. I mean, there was a week I didn't go on my computer at all. I just only used my phone, and I can't do as much from my phone as I can from my PC. And it was nice to have like that week off, even though I still use my phone.
Yeah. I mean, I was off also for a while, and I tried to do the digital detox as much as possible. But it's just great to forget about things, you know, even, you know, I can't wait to see you with everyone else in July.
Yes. Oh, I'm so excited to go to LinkedIn headquarters.
We're all very excited.
Yes.
Because as those of us that are on LinkedIn will tell you, when you go there, it's like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory sort of thing. It's just everything you ever could have imagined.
Well, when I was out in California, I went to San Francisco a lot, and we had a friend who drove a taxi. We met her one day when we took a taxi ride, and she became friends. She drove us to the Apple mothership, like Apple's headquarters, and it was really cool going there. And then, of course, they had all cool merch you could buy, and you know, that's how I feel it's going to be like that.
Well, the best part about it, when you go to LinkedIn, and hopefully no one from LinkedIn is listening now, but we all got stuff there when we were there.
Well, it's great advertising. You know, we walk around with LinkedIn stuff. You know, that's, you know, like right now we have stickers for Iggy for the shop. It has Iggy's face on it, and it says stuff with, I think it's just stuff with Iggy. I don't know. It might say the whole thing, but you know, and we like to give those out. You know, eventually we'll do buttons again, but it's, you know, when people wear your stuff around, it's great. It's free advertising.
And it's marketing and branding for yourself. I mean, you know, it's not just, you know, it's something I don't think I could have envisioned 3 years ago where things would have gone. I mean, we've stayed friends in a way, which I think is a great testament to things. And, you know, I think that's the best part of networking. There are so many people now I consider networking friends per se. And it makes a big difference because they've picked me up when I've been down, and I want to think that I can keep doing that for you, Nancy, and for others as well, because I think that's such an important part of that.
Yes. Well, you introduced me to Zadie's. I only lived in Fairlawn for almost 20 years, and I had never been there. So.
And what do you think?
Oh my God! My go-to Shiva food cake is the chocolate melt-away cake, and I didn't know they even have other flavors. There's like vanilla melt-away cake, and there's another one. And their black and white cookies are amazing. Yep. Everything you walk in there, it smells delicious, and they're now completely nut-free. So if anyone has a nut allergy or sesame, no nuts.
Well, what I did for the holidays one year is I sent out the holiday challahs. I sent one to Brenda. I sent one to Lauren Greif. I sent one to Dan Roth.
I haven't had their challah yet, but I've heard it's amazing too.
The holiday challah is even better, but you pull it out.
Right.
It's like a cake.
Oh, well, and I was I didn't know how to explain the consistency, the texture of the chocolate melt-away cake. It's similar to a babka, but like, how do you describe that? I don't know, because it's not cakey really. It's different. But you have to eat it
with a spoon first of all. At least I do.
Well, I brought it out for Father's Day.
Okay.
For my father-in-law and my brother-in-law and his father, and I think they all liked it. So. And the prices are not bad. Like what I paid for that cake compared to like if we went to, the Italian one in Ramsey. Why can't I think of it?
Giuseppe.
Uncle Giuseppe's. If I went there, it'd be more money, and this is better, and it's less money. So, I love food. Can you tell?
What?
I love food. Can you tell?
I do too. I just can't eat a lot of it, unfortunately.
Well, my favorite Chinese restaurant just closed. She sold Dim Sum Dynasty in Ridgewood. She sold it.
Okay.
And it's going to be a Mediterranean restaurant, she said. But yeah, now I have to go to Parsippany or Secaucus or Fort Lee.
Or go to Montclair.
What's in Montclair? They have good in Montclair too?
There's a good one. I'll send you the link. It's because the one by Market Basket also shut down, which wasn't good.
Yeah, and Montclair is good. It's not too far for me, so
right.
I can do that.
I want to thank you very much for chatting today, Nancy.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I can't believe it's 3 years.
I know, and put the link, put your store in there, put the link in the chat. Okay. I have to remember before we leave, we're taking a screenshot.
And how do I? Let's see. How do I?
No, you have to go back. On LinkedIn and add it there. You can't.
Okay, I will do that so everyone can have it. I'll put the link to our website and a link to the videos.
Sounds great. So next week we are not doing this on Tuesday because it's 4th of July. Even I take a day off. But I have Ed Hahn coming on Monday, and then I'm taking a week of digital detox after that.
Excellent. And Ed is a great job search advocate. He's
absolutely
awesome. Supporter too.
And fellow Giants fans. We have that in common.
I like Jets and Giants. I don't care.
Okay.
Either is fine.
All right. Have a great day, everyone. Take care.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.